Okay, so I took one trade today on the S&P. This is my recap on it. So I was looking at Nasdaq as well for price action. I didn't find a trade on Nasdaq, but it did help me with SMT divergence and stuff, which I'll get into now. So coming into market, I was looking for a bias. Obviously, market is in quite a range at the moment, kind of in between these. Well, it was in between these highs and these lows, just in there. But I saw coming into the market, we had a liquidity sweep here on the 4 hour, which was on Friday. We swept liquidity. I actually traded this and I lost it. But we swept liquidity up here, and on Nasdaq we did not. As you can see, this was the SMT. SMT divergence here. Let me change that. So that was the S&T divergence. As you can see, we swept liquidity here. Nasdaq, we did not sweep, but we still went down. So I was coming into it from that bearish. We didn't sweep any liquidity down here. Obviously, we had a fair value gap here that we tapped into a slight bit, but that's not enough for me to be bullish, really, because I like the 50% mark. Because obviously, as we can see here, 50% is here. Price was nowhere near that. So yeah, we swept liquidity coming into the market. I then scaled down on the 1 hour because I did my top down analysis. On the 1 hour, we had a rejection fair value gap here. So we just boom straight past that. That made me bearish, but I did see we swept liquidity here with this candle. So then I was a bit like, oh, it could be switching bias here. We could be being bullish. Not switching bias, obviously, because this is pre-market, but as I was just going through the market, so I was like, oh, okay, maybe we are bullish. And then I saw this 1 hour fair value gap that got respected. So price obviously just wanted to come back up here, respect that, and come straight down. So I came into the market bearish. I was looking for bearish trades. We had news at 10 o'clock, which was PMI, manufacturing, I think. Yeah, so we had manufacturing PMI. Did affect the market a little bit. But coming into market, we had a massive candle down. On Nasdaq, we had a candle up, I think. Where's 9:30? Oh no, so we both went down. But market, oh yeah, coming into pre-market, we had a big candle up. We swept 15-minute liquidity here with news. And news made this candle down. So we swept 15-minute liquidity, came down. We had a tiny 5-minute rejection fair value gap here, which came down, and that created a 5-minute fair value gap. Okay, so I was waiting for news, after news to trade. News came out at 10 o'clock, which was here. Okay, so we came up, we tapped into this 5-minute fair value gap, which was also in this 5-minute rejection fair value gap, which was a nice BPR, which is good good confluence, which is also in my EQ. So I was kind of looking for confluences here. I didn't want to rush into it. I couldn't find any confluences. We had this massive candle. We had this massive move down, and I couldn't find any confluences in this because obviously, as you can see, we're on the 1 minute. Nothing here. So I was patient. We did come down and sweep some lows over here, but I wasn't that phased about that because I still thought we had a big fair value gap down here that I thought we wanted to go into, which we probably still might. But anyway, so we came up, and obviously we had this 5-minute rejection fair value gap and this 5-minute fair value gap, which was a BPR. I wanted price to come back up here, tap into that, and then I was going to look for like a break structure or rejection fair value gap. So as you can see, market came up into it. It was an EQ. I didn't mark it out though because obviously it was quite high up in EQ, but it was an EQ, which is another confluence. So I hit the 5-minute fair value gap, and ultimately I saw this 1 minute fair value gap getting respected quite well. So I said, if that gets rejected, I'm entering on that because it's supporting price quite well. So if it breaks through that, I think it's going to go down, which obviously it did. We did have a 5-minute breaker structure with this move down, which I forgot to mention. And here it created a 1 minute breaker structure, which this candle broke. I entered on that because obviously I thought it rejected a fair value gap, which it didn't. It literally respected a tiny, so I thought I made a big mistake. And then this candle rejected the fair value gap anyway. So I entered there, put my stops above the 5 minute fair value gap, because obviously if it went above the 5 minute fair value gap, my trade would have been basically wrong. I would have looked for re-entries if it stayed in here, but anyway, it didn't happen. So yeah, we broke 1 minute structure, rejected a fair value gap, so I put my first TP at this low, because I knew if it rejected this and broke structure, it's gonna go and try and sweep the lows, because obviously then it went higher. So it's gonna try and sweep those lows. I should have kept my one take profit in there, because I was so confident price would have gone there. I could have taken the whole 1.4% or 1.5%, sorry. But silly me, don't know why I did it, overconfidence. I put my other TP down at this 1 hour fair value gap, which obviously it didn't hit, so I could only take 50% of my win-ins, because I put obviously hit here and then I put my stops at break even. So overall good trade. Obviously improvements. I could have not put this take profit. I could have just kept this one, had my 1 to 1.5, taken my full profits. It would have been a nice little trade, but oh well. I'll know for next time to just take my profits at reasonable places and not just take the mick with it, basically. But yeah, overall good trade. And yeah, on to tomorrow.